Okay, so I've been trying to play Kingdom Come Deliverance, or as I like to call it, Glitchdom Come the Wanderance. I say trying because I'm not sure that the game in its current state actually wants to be played, or is supposed to be played, because it throws all kinds of obstacles at you. Now, don't get me wrong, I have a lot of things to complain about, but at the same time, the game has robbed me of so much time lately that I don't really have, and my to-do list is crying out in pain because, well, I've been playing it quite a lot whenever I, had the time or could make time or could skip some things to make time. Yeah, stuff like that. So it is very riveting, and it's got lots and lots of potential. There are plenty of things I really, really like, and that I don't think anybody else has done so far in that way. But, man, is it a buggy mess. It is such an unfinished mess. I mean, I would expect stuff like this from not even some betas, from alphas. I mean, it's... Okay, so first off, since I played the beta, I upgraded my graphics card, and the performance is better. I don't know if that's due to the better graphics card or improvements that they've made, but even so, I definitely noticed that, for example, in the town areas, the frame rate drops quite a lot. And I can also tell that it's not using the full resources. It's actually not putting as much load on the GPU as it should. So it's clearly not optimized, and the texture pop-ins are really disturbing to the point where they break immersion and are just distracting. And you've got stuff like this where there's just this blurry puddle in the middle, and plenty of like textures keep popping in all the time, and there are lots of little trivial artifacts, like for example, it seems like you're playing resurrected Ned Stark or something. Henry doesn't seem to have a neck, at least going by his shadow. And then there's this guy here who seems to be doing glitch squats in the middle of the road, in the sense of, right inside of the road. Yeah, stuff like this is happening all the time, where characters, glitch through the world, or disappear partially, or, stand weirdly on things, or don't have faces. Like in this case, like the head is just entirely missing, the body is clipping through the blurry clothing. And, okay, here's one of the worst things. Look at that timer here. So this is right from the moment that I pressed interact to talk to the NPC. And I'm just going to let this run in the background, or like in the small little window here, so you can keep an eye on it. This is one of my major complaints. In fact, probably I can sum up my biggest complaint about the game so far is that it's a colossal time waster. And partially it's in a good way, because it does draw you in a lot and it makes you want to play it a lot, but it's also in the bad way because it wastes so much of your time just staring at the screen. The loading times are unreal. Like the very first time I set the options, it literally loaded for 5 full minutes just to change the options. A full 5 minutes, not even exaggerating. And you see the timer is still going. This is just to talk to an NPC. Now, this is the worst example, probably, or one of the worst examples that I've come upon so far. It's not always as bad. In fact, it seems to have sped up a little bit. But there you have it. This was a case where it took like literally over a minute just to be able to talk to an NPC. And now, as I said, it's gotten a little better somehow, but it's still, every time you talk to an NPC, the screen goes black and you have to wait for a couple of seconds. That just, it turns you into the worst kind of introvert. Like, don't want to deal with people unless absolutely freaking necessary. I don't even want to talk to NPCs anymore because it takes too damn long. And everything in the game takes terribly long. I call it Glitchdom Come the Wanderance because it is a walking simulator to a large extent, so there's a lot of walking around, especially when you're encumbered and can't fast travel. And so this all takes quite a lot of time. And then there's the save function. This is one of the worst decisions. There is an item in the game, the so-called savior schnapps, that you need to use in order to be able to save. Now, the game auto-saves, so it's not quite that bad. You don't need an item for every single time you save. But still, why? I mean, okay, don't get me wrong. I get why they want to encourage or discourage the kind of behavior when you save like every 5 steps and you save right before pickpocketing or before doing something that has a certain risk, and then you just load when it fails. Sure, fine and good, but it is such a major hassle to, for one, you can't just stop every time, anytime you want. You have to think about, how many of those items do I have left, and can I really afford to spend one right now? I don't think that's acceptable whatsoever. If you have to, drop the controller, turn off the computer or the console and just go and get stuff done, you need to be able to do that without having to worry about how much money you're spending right there. I mean, fortunately, it's in-game money. I mean, that would be the greatest thing, considering how some publishers do things these days. I'm almost surprised that there's not, you want to save? That'll be 99 cents, please, real money. Fortunately, it's not that. But it's still quite a hassle. And yes, you can find ingredients that allow you to make the stuff yourself, to brew it yourself. But either you spend time to get in-game money to buy the stuff, or you spend time picking those things and brewing the stuff. Either way, you have to spend extra time just to be able to save some more. No, now maybe I'm a little too harsh on that part, but I doubt it, considering how fast an unlimited save mod came out for the game, which I've installed, because otherwise it's just ridiculous. And more glitchiness. This one here is pretty funny because it looks like as the guy is talking, like the other one is just, huddling up to him and is cuddling him. It is so freaking awkward. Henry says, I'd be interested to know what the men talk about. Well, considering that scene, I'm pretty sure I know what they're talking about. So there are lots of amusing scenes. They're involuntarily amusing, but they're still amusing. Stuff like this is everywhere, where they just, this one is particularly good. Apparently this guard is guarding that chest and is taking his job very seriously. Anyway, so the good news is, despite all the glitchiness and everything, so far I haven't run into a quest that I couldn't finish because of the bugginess, even though one particular quest was bugged. You see right there is an NPC that you can save if you're fast enough, who gets killed, but when you show up there just a little late, he just lies there or stands there in the kind of generic model pose. But yeah, that was the only one that was kind of bugged. Otherwise, there was one other quest that I haven't been able to do so far, because I got violently stuck on the stairs. It was a flight of stairs that I had to get up to in order to get there, and Henry would just refuse to walk up the stairs. He would get stuck on the stairs, and then he would be in this perpetual running animation the entire time, no matter what you do. So I hope they come up with an update to patch a lot of this stuff pretty soon. Another very important thing to fix would be a save game glitch. There's a problem where if you have all the save game slots full, and you try to, or at least in my case, when I try to save on one of the earlier ones, it freezes up. It doesn't do it, and it does it over and over again. So apparently I can only save on like the first 2 or maybe 3 save games out of the list, and that just, it's bugged. So by the way, I tried to uninstall the save mod, and I also uninstalled and reinstalled Kingdom Come. I tried a variety of fixes, but nothing really works. So there's some, pretty severe problem there. Okay, so now that I got all of this off my chest, how am I enjoying the game, aside from all the infuriating glitchiness? Aside from that, it's pretty awesome. I've definitely been enjoying it, and I'm looking forward to patches and whatnot, because there is so much in the game that I very much appreciate. You know, this is a good example of historical accuracy done in a way that actually enhances the gameplay experience. Because for one, you actually have the situation where you can learn from the game as you play it, because there are lots of historical facts in there, and you can read a lot about the time, and it is accurate enough that there's definitely a lot of information to absorb just by going through the world and observing things, observing people glitch through everything. That's totally a historical fact. If you're wondering about just how authentic it is, I'm not a historian, and I personally don't have enough in-depth knowledge to really find any minor inaccuracies. Everything that I'm seeing so far seems perfectly accurate. So if they got anything, if there's anything off, then it would be more of the minor details. But equipment and everything, from what I've seen and from what I know, seems all very authentic. And the fighting definitely looks very authentic, and also it feels good. You know, feel, quote unquote, feels and looks right, and it works well. I can definitely say that. Yeah, the combat is very, very satisfying in a lot of ways. You know, the way the animations are, the way it sounds, the tactical options that you have, and the choice of equipment that influences everything, etc. There's a lot to be enjoyed here, for sure. And of course, it has the typical RPG reward of progressing. You know, you start out with almost nothing, and you build up wealth, and you get better and better equipment, and you get stronger, and all of that. So the entire process is definitely enjoyable. Interacting with the NPCs, aside from the loading time and glitchiness, is also very satisfying. The faces, in general, the graphics are really good, you know, if you overlook all the texture pop-ins and everything. But the faces, for example, are really, you know, pretty much photorealistic and very convincing. You know, facial expression generally also pretty good, with a few exceptions maybe, and lip sync can be a little bit off here and there, but overall definitely quite well done. I think this is also a reason why it bothers me sometimes to see this random weird glitchy behavior, because it's kind of, a lot of the things are so immersive and convincing that it completely throws you off to see somebody sink through the ground or see their face disappear, because it's kind of weird and uncanny valley and nightmarish and just bizarre, you know, like everything seems like real life, and then suddenly Picasso comes along and smears his brush along it and just distorts things into this weird acid trip alternate reality. Yeah, I think that's probably all I can say for right now. So overall, if I had to say, do I love or hate the game, it's kind of, I like it, but I'm angry at it. It frustrates me, but it can only get better, hopefully. So I would definitely suggest, if you're interested in this kind of thing, and if you appreciate the good kind of realism that actually adds to the experience, then yes, this is most certainly up your alley. You may want to wait until they fix it. Yeah, but if you don't want to wait, I'll put a link down below where you can get it when there's a bit of a sale. So otherwise, yeah, I'll definitely keep trying to play it, or maybe I'll just wait until they patch it. I don't know yet, but yeah, you'll probably see more about it. Anyway, hope you found it interesting, and thanks for watching. Have a good one, folks.